Oh, back at it again with some gameplay. Been a couple of days. I've been busy. I got a new job. So far I've been doing like social media, video editing stuff. But fortunately, like for the past couple of years, I've been able to like in my job, like find out a way to like do something that I'm kind of interested in, you know, and like get better at that. So like right now I'm wanting to get better at like making like narrative or video essay style like videos and stuff like that, and editing those. And so far I've been like procrastinating it heavy on like my actual YouTube channel, so I'm using my work stuff to actually like motivate me to like do some more of that. So yeah, I always like to kill two birds with one stone. But that being said, here we are. About to play some Black Ops 1. Let me double check the server list, see what's popping. You know what it is? 24/7 Nuketown. I'm just kidding. We'll probably play some of this right here. Coming at you live and direct. Boop, boop. Have I watched any good movies lately? Nothing in the past few days, I don't think. Alright, let's see. Okay, let's do it. Bop, 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 bop. Feel a little bit rusty. I haven't played in like 4 or 5 days. I straight up unlisted the last stream that I did because I like went to look at it after the stream was over, and I think, oh, it was my audio quality was really bad. I used 2 microphones to stream. One is like a regular little lav mic that's really close to me, and the other one's like a condenser mic. And basically the condenser mic is like really sensitive, so it would pick up like every background noise. So then I used the lav mic as kind of like the thing that actually activates the noise gate, if that makes sense. So that way, like, I get like the quality of the condenser mic, and then like the lower sensitivity of the lav mic. But what happened was that my configuration for my audio stuff switched up on me. I didn't realize. So I was sitting there streaming with my, like, the audio was my lav mic, and then also like halfway through the stream I like went to go get something to eat, so I switched over to YouTube, and then when I came back I forgot to swap my OBS. So like the screen was just frozen on the Black Ops main menu screen for like half of the stream. So I was like, there's literally no reason to keep this stream up, because it was only like an hour and a half. Half of it was just like frozen. The whole thing's audio was trash. So I was like, we'll just delete it. But I've only had to like, I've only deleted / unlisted like 2, maybe 3 streams ever out of like the 2 months that I've been streaming. So that's pretty good. That's a good track record. Like I prefer to take the stance of like, this potentially could be saved and archived forever. So I try to just always treat every stream like it is going to be up forever. You know what I'm saying? So that's just kind of how I try to mentally think about things. Like I'm cool like with the mindset of like, oh, nobody's really watching, so it doesn't really matter, rather than, oh, I can just delete it. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather just assume that regardless, like some people might see me do something stupid, but it's not that big of a deal. I don't know. But I always kind of like, I am kind of like an internet archivalist, historian, hoarder. So like I try to look out for the people that also do that and they're into that. So like I just try to think about stuff from like a forwards perspective of like, okay, somebody that's like getting into the stream like 2-3 months from now, if they decide to like go back and look some of the old streams for whatever reason, like what are they gonna see? What are the vibes gonna be? I don't know. Will they be able to like easily tell what each stream was throughout like my back catalog? You know, like will it still be like if they subscribe to me and start watching my streams and videos and stuff, and then like they get recommended like an older VOD, are they likely to click it? And if they do, when they do click it, will they actually like, watch through? So that's just kind of the stuff that I'm thinking about. Yeah, dig. I'm actually gonna swap teams. Try to make everything even. Yeah, dig. Oh. Bro. Got him. Be so sick if somebody changed their name to like look like a bot on this server. And then they just weren't a bot. Getting a little hungry. I always start streaming and then I get hungry. It's so weird. It's like I'll be like not that hungry for like hours and then I start streaming and I immediately get hungry. I guess it's because I'm like actively doing something and thinking or something. I don't know. And it just, if I'm just passively watching videos, it doesn't really bother me that much. Oh, I forgot. There's like, oh, it's on the other side. Hold on, let me get to the other side of the map. There's like some little like crevice thingy. Ah. Let's see, what news topics have been going on? XQC got the $100 million kick deal. Cool for him. I don't really like Kick that much, but I don't know. I might make a Kick account, not stream on it, but just to have the account. I need to make a Mastodon account as well. I don't know why. I always bought into that internet social media FOMO of like, oh, you gotta at least make an account. But like, I don't know. I was in the mindset of like just making like a whole bunch of accounts from the get-go. Like, whenever I was like a lot younger, like 11 or 12, like I didn't just get like my username at gmail.com. I got like my username at Gmail, at Hotmail, at Yahoo, at whatever else you can think of. Oh, I was gonna go for the kill cam. Not a good kill cam, but I was gonna go for one. Still counts. Oh yeah. Wait, I was gonna make the cam. Let's do grid. Oh yeah, let me move the cam back a little bit. There we go. Shouldn't have started off with that other song. It was too of like a meditative trance kind of vibe. I'm such a dumbass. Hold on, I'll be right back. I just spilled a protein shake like all over my shirt. I don't even understand how. They like splash up in my face. I'll be
Prišli mi mladići, pamtim samo udarce, nisam imao novaca, pamtim to nasilje. Prišli mi mladići, pamtim samo udarce, pamtim to nasilje.
Okay, I think I fixed my mic. So basically, to recap the last 5 minutes, I spilled a protein shake on myself. It splashed on my shirt, splashed on my face, and then I realized exactly 1 drop splashed on my lav mic that I was just talking about a minute ago in my complicated mic setup. And then because of that 1 little drop, it decided to make my mic completely screw up. And luckily enough, it seems to be working now. Hopefully it doesn't like shit out on me or something in a minute. But for right now, it seems like it's working. So here goes nothing. Okay. That's so annoying though. I guess let's just hop back into TDM. I really want to play some like free-for-all though. It'd be so sick. Thick. Absolutely sick. I've just been having so many like weird technical difficulties today. Like first I go and start up my face cam thing and come on controller. The face cam thing looks like super low quality, so I have to like troubleshoot it, and also it's like low frame rate and I can't figure out why. Probably because I've been not playing for the past like 4 or 5 days. Then my microphone messes up. It's just one thing after another. When it rains, it pours. Speaking of, it is raining outside my house, which means if I lose connection, you know why. Yeah. Wait, do I even have chat on screen? I do. I do. It's very small. Annoyed. How do they go from Crisis to Hanoi? Those are like, honestly, probably 2 of the most boring maps in the game. Hanoi's really fun in Search and Destroy though. It's got some like creepy, spooky vibes. I need to do a playthrough of the Black Ops campaign. Cause I never really been into like campaign games that much. Like in general, I've always been more of a multiplayer kind of person. In first person shooter especially. So like, okay, we got some familiar people in here, but like, I only played the Black Ops 1 campaign like 1 time. I only played like the Modern Warfare 2 campaign like 1 time, and just kind of never returned to them. And then same thing for like the Black Ops Cold War campaign. And I really want to play that one again. And honestly, on the Black Ops Cold War, like my favorite part about the whole game was the campaign. And then I played like a pretty decent bit of multiplayer, not a whole lot, but I played a pretty decent bit. And then I haven't even played zombies on there yet, so I still need to try that out. My only experience with zombies was literally watching Atrioc, Ludwig, and Stans play with Noah J 745 or 645 or whatever his numbers are. Ah. He's about to blow me up. Okay. Boom, bop, 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 bop. Where is he? Let me at him. Let me at him. He left the game because I sniped him? Come on, Nemesis. Just because I'm your nemesis don't mean you have to nim, sis. That was the only other human and he left because I scrubbed on him. Come on, what a shamil. It's a Friday night. The server should be popular. I'll be playing tomorrow too. You dig? Maybe I should knife since it's just bots. I think that'd be fun. Doot, 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 doot. Yo, I'm like 2 away from a blackbird. Conveniently. Oh. I was about to say. That should have been stupid easy of a shot. I want like... Ooh, I might make a soup in a little while to eat. I bought some groceries the other day and I forgot some soup cans in my car. Glad it was a soup and not anything refrigerated. Every time I get groceries, I get like a bunch of yogurt. Usually in at least like 2 different varieties, kinds. Like I get like the regular kind that comes in like the single serve packets, but then I'll get like a big, I'll get like a big, not jug, it's like a half gallon, I think. It's like technically called like low fat milk, but really it's just like not really thick yogurt. It's thin yogurt and it's so good to drink. I already really love smoothies and it's basically like a low-key smoothie in a bottle. Like it'd be a lot better if it had more like fruits. It's like only strawberry flavored, the one that I get. But like if they had like some blueberries or something in there, it'd be sick. But I love yogurt. That's why I love smoothies so much, is because like, number one, they're pretty easy to make besides the fact that you have to really clean the blender part every time you use it. And I haven't been in like a... How did I not know about this? What the hell? I've been playing this game for like 12 years. I've never noticed this. Is it only in certain game modes? What in the hell? It must be blocked off in most of the game modes. That's crazy. I mean, I guess we just didn't play this map that much. That's so nuts. I didn't even know about... Where does that come out? I need to get a... Oh, it comes out here. I've seen this side. I've seen that and I never thought about it being a RCXD spot. That's crazy. I've always just ran right by that. Never looked. There's one right here too. What the hell? That's crazy. That's crazy. Come on. Wait, is that it? That's a human! We have a human sighting! Bum, bum, bum. Ah! Trying to think what else I have planned for this year. I mean, when I say plans for this stream, I say that very loosely because, like, I'd say at least half of the time, whenever I say, like, I'll be live tomorrow at a certain amount of time, or I'll be doing this, I feel like half the time I just, like, nah, I don't feel like it. God, that was lucky. Not even gonna lie. You got dogs! Where are they? Here come the doggies. Haha, beast. Yo, where are the people? Ah! Okay, let me think. Okay, so stream plans. I still need to do a YouTube React stream. I still need to, like, buckle down and, like, do that. Not just, like, random YouTube videos, but, like, videos from playlists that I have. So it's like, I don't know. It's like more like a DJ session, but with, instead of music, it's videos and memes. Let's see, what else do I have? Ah! One of my favorite things about the server is that it has cycling kill streaks, so like, as soon as you get your max kill streak, you can— ooh, that was nice. As soon as you get your max kill streak, it re-rolls, and then you can just keep on getting kill streaks without dying. It's so sick. Ah! That was so funny. Ah. Woo! That was lucky. Sometimes you gotta know how to play stupid. Come on, peek, peek, peek. What are you doing over there? Come on! Get your hand out of your pants! Where are they? Bum, 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 bum. Been watching a lot of podcasts the last couple of days. Just like random episodes of like Fear and Shuckle Sandwich. I don't usually watch Shuckle Sandwich that much. Most of the time there's like one of like 3 or 4 podcasts that I'll listen to for like a little while regularly. Then I'll like cycle again. So I've been watching The Yard pretty consistently though, since it's been coming out. But like the Bill Burr podcast, I'll like hop into his like once every couple of months and just like binge listen. I listen to Bill Burr's podcast like a lot when I'm trying to go to sleep, or like sometimes I do. Lately, but like I'll be watching like Bill Burr's podcast and just like go to sleep with that or whatever. But then also I used to watch that's good advertising. What do we want to do? I guess Convoy. What was I talking about? Oh, podcast. So let's see. The Yard, Bill Burr, Ear Biscuits, GMM, What else have I watched or listened to? Honestly, not a lot. I'm not really like a podcast kind of guy. That much. But at the same time, like, I don't know. I used to listen to like a lot more music. Like I'd listen to a lot of like albums and stay up to date with all the stuff that's coming out. And then like a couple of years ago, I just kind of fell off and quit like really searching up for new stuff, especially during COVID. Because there wasn't anything really great in like 2020, 2021-ish, you know? So I kind of like just quit looking for stuff that much. Hold up. Ah. Hold on, hold on. Ah. Bro, he snorted on me. When people are jumping around with lightweight, I just I just revert back to like primordial ooze. You remember that like weird show? It was like I think Nickelodeon, Prometheus and Bob. It's a weird show. It was like some caveman dude, and I think like maybe an alien. I can't remember. Oh, hold on. I got the close spawn. Ah. Ah. Death is watching you. Yeah, for real. Take the corners slow. There's a lot of corners in this map. I wish my nose would stop itching. Ah. I'm so ass. Where'd you go? Ah. Hold on, I gotta scratch my nose. Ah, okay. Stupid nose. Bump, 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 ba-dim. Bump, 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 ba-dum. Okay. Podcast, listening. Oh yeah, but I think like I quit listening to stuff so much because I was trying to like focus more on work that I was doing. Like, I mean, I don't know. Whenever I was working like at an office job and I needed to like tune things out, I'd have my AirPods in constantly and just be like listening to music or whatever. Or like, I'm one of the people that like pretty much constantly has AirPods in. Like even at home because I just hate hearing the sound of my air conditioner because it's like literally right behind my head. Ah. But I really want to get some AirPod Pro 2s. I heard the noise canceling is even better and the battery life's better. And that's pretty much my only like even minor complaint with AirPod Pros that I have is just that the battery life could be better. It's only like 4 hours. Thankfully, I'm borrowing somebody else's AirPods that they never really used. So I basically have 2 pairs of AirPods. And then once one pair goes dead, I just swap to the others. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. Let me out. Boink. I have some really nice over-ear headphones. I have like... Woo! Shee! I don't always hit them, but when I hit them, I hit them! Ah! Oh shit. Jump. I'm just gonna climb the ladder. From the top ropes, he swings like Spider-Man. Ah. Ah. On situations like those, I'd rather just lose than like knife or whatever. Most of the time. Most of the time. Just because, I don't know. It's like this, just the fun of the game. Just a kid just being a kid, man. Just rocking in the free world, man. Trying to think. What else have I been watching? I don't know, I'll just talk about the new Apple Vision Pro headset. I think it's really sick. Honestly, if I have the money for it whenever it comes out, honestly, I might be interested in buying it. Because I've been into like VR stuff for a while. I've never bought a VR headset. But I've had this idea since like 2016 of like doing like AR style, like multi-monitor desktop setup kind of stuff. Like I've got like a few like programs that I want to make for that, like some note-taking programs and stuff. And I don't know, I just think it'd be really sick to own. I mean, it's really expensive, but I don't know. Like I said, if I save up for it, it might not be too crazy. Because I've already got most of the equipment that I need, except for like a capture card. Ah, I should have got him. I should have got him. But I'd like to get it partially because I feel like I'm not 100% certain on this. It's kind of like a risky bet. But shit. Like currently I use an iPhone XS to run my like face stuff, face tracking stuff. And shit. I just feel like with the better I'm so trash. Oh shit. But I feel like it might be pretty good for doing like facial mocap stuff, since they're gonna be doing that with their FaceTime whatever. Hold on, watch him come around the corner. Boink. Got him. But I think like for me personally, the fact that it has like the little attachable battery with the cord and like the 2-hour battery life if you're not plugged into the wall, I feel like that doesn't really matter to me because I'll be mostly using it like at my house anyways. Kind of as like a AR desktop setup with like multi-monitor stuff. I'm really interested to try out the like UI stuff, like looking with your eyes and just like tapping your fingers. And what's sick is I'm pretty sure I can put on my like EEG headset that I have, and eventually I'll be able to just like, without even moving my fingers, I can just like look and then think to interact with the screen, which is honestly kind of really sick now that I think about it. Because that's definitely something I can do, is like set up to where all I gotta do is think about pinching my fingers together, and then it happens. I don't know, there's just a lot of cool stuff that's about to come out soon in the next couple of years in terms of like AI and like equipment and products and stuff. I really want to get a new NVIDIA graphics card, like a 40 series, purely because the newer 40 series cards will be able to do, or they are able to do, AV1 encoding, like video encoding, and which means that I can stream that to YouTube at like a much higher quality, which is really sick. I really like to do that a lot. I forget exactly how much it is, but I think it's like with the same, like you get basically, instead of being limited to like maybe like a 10 megabit bit rate or something like that, when you use AV1, it'll basically be like having like maybe 30% more data in roughly the same amount of like data being sent to the server. So it's like a pretty significant increase in video quality. I don't think Twitch supports AV1 yet, but YouTube does, and I'm mostly eyeballing YouTube over Twitch 100 billion%, because I just don't have any kind of loyalty or faith in Twitch to do anything competent whatsoever. Bump, ba-doom, ba-doom, bump. The person in the game asked me if I played zombies on here. I was just saying that Ascension is my favorite, and they said that Moon is their favorite. I said it's probably my second favorite because it really is. Moon is so sick. Come on. Oh. Bum, 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 bum. What was I gonna say? I wanted to start streaming like an hour and a half earlier, but then I ended up procrastinating watching YouTube, and then I took a shower. Just lame stuff. And I wish I would have, because then I wouldn't be as tired as I am right now. And it's like so much more effort to like sit here and ramble on some like random topic. I always start streaming way too late. Oh. Come on, that could have been like a 4-piece. What the hell? Oh yeah, I've been watching a lot of like Mr. Beast interviews and stuff. I watched like Mr. Beast's interview with Colin and Samir. I watched Mr. Beast's interview with, who else? Andrew Schulz, the Flagrant podcast. I wonder what happened to Flagrant 2. Because they did have like Flagrant with Andrew Schulz, and then they had Flagrant 2 with Akash Singh. But like the other day I looked at their channels and I didn't see, like it looks to me like they merged Flagrant and Flagrant 2 into one podcast, which makes a lot of sense, but like I couldn't even find the original channel. So it's like, where are the old podcast episodes? I don't know. I'm not like a really big watcher of Andrew Schulz or whatever. He's funny. Yeah, it's just been really fascinating for me, like, kind of taking a little bit of a deeper dive in Mr. Beast's, like, thought process and, like, I don't know, just how he sets things up. Oh, one of the most fascinating things I watched, I might like rewatch this on stream, is the Collins and Samir video where they were with Mr. Beast for like 24 hours when he was opening up like one of the earlier physical Mr. Beast locations in like a mall. And that shit was so crazy. They had like, I don't know, like 14, 15, like 20,000 people there, something like that. So crazy. Just seeing them like trying to manage the logistics with all that like on the fly. It seemed a little bit underprepared in my opinion. That was awful. That was so trash. Oh. A shit marker. But yeah, like it was, I also like went back and looked at like some of Mr. Beast's like original early videos, and it's just so interesting like seeing him build it up from like nothing, you know, making trash videos. It's kind of like, it gave me a lot of inspiration because that's kind of what I want to do with this channel, with this stream and everything, is like just start out just completely nothing and really build it up like crazier than like anybody can imagine. I think I'm positioned really well to do that as long as I just continue to get better at streaming and just continue to just get better at making videos as well. Because I like the thing about making videos and editing and stuff is that like whenever I have like an idea and I'm locked into it, then like I make a lot of progress on stuff like really fast and I learn a lot. But then when I'm not, when I don't have like a specific thing that I'm working towards and trying to make, it's just like, I don't know, so much harder to get motivated to do things. So like since I haven't had like a really solid YouTube video idea, I've been kind of procrastinating like really making some videos and like doing like just some like video essay type stuff or whatever. And also just editing videos for my streams in general. But now that I'm doing this other part-time job where I'm doing like social media stuff for them and like editing YouTube videos and all that whatever, I feel like it's gonna give me like a good momentum and like push in the right direction of getting more in that habit of like thinking really hard on actually making YouTube videos. Because currently I'm just streaming, just shouting out into the void, and I don't really have anything drawing in new viewers. We need C. We'll take C. Why do we need C? Let's go get it. Man says we need C, so we'll get C. Got C. Haha! Ah! In another life that would have hit. Ah. 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 Haha. Shit. But honestly, watching all that Mr. Beast content and like interviews and stuff was really motivational, inspirational of like just kind of trying to get my mindset in less of like a perfectionist kind of like artistic mindset for making YouTube videos, and more in just whatever well, not whatever happens, but like trying to make it more pop, you know, pop culture, just more generally appealing to a wider audience. So I need to like start. It's just different because I'm a VTuber, so like there's a lot of things that are like different and harder because I'm a VTuber, but then there's also a lot of things that are like I have advantage of, and it's all about me just finding those advantages and kind of working with them to make something that isn't out there a lot already, like something kind of unique and original. It doesn't have to be completely unique or whatever. I mean, it will be, because that's just kind of like my nature of like stuff in general. But I think it's kind of like I've been more motivated to going off. Run away. But I'm more motivated to like focus on just making good, generally appealable content first, and then adapt the stuff that I'm more passionate about and the more unique, like original stuff, ideas that I have, after I've already amassed like a smaller, like a decent sized audience. Instead of just trying to reel people in on whatever I want to do off rip. If that makes sense. So like, I don't know, I'm thinking I'm just gonna take the next couple of weeks and just be really, really thinking about the type of videos that I can make that suit my type of like content that I want to make, and just doing kind of Mr. Beast's motto of just make the best videos possible. I mean, like when you have like a singular mantra like that, it really, really helps in achieving whatever goal you want. Like my goal for like the past like 7 years or so has been, I want to be able to take any idea that I have in my head and bring it to life. And so far, like I'm pretty content with like the level that I've progressed that to. Like I can pretty much take generally like any creative idea that I have in my head to life. It might take me a while, but like I can get it pretty decently done. Not everything, obviously, but it's at like a sufficient enough level where I can make something I'm pretty happy with. I can walk away with like a good product. So I feel like I'm at like a good level with that, where number one, I feel like I'm at a good level, but also I've lost a little bit of motivation to expand in terms of like just new skills, I guess, per se. Like instead of like, oh, I'm gonna like learn 3D animation or learn like music production or learn how to rap or write or whatever. Now I'm more in the mindset of let me get good at streaming and being entertaining and performing, which is kind of a completely different mindset than all the other things that I've been learning. So like the mindset that I'm in now is more of I don't know, less of like a grind set focus on making these projects, these specific projects that I want to bring to life, and more of repeatedly trying to work out this muscle in my brain that I use when I'm streaming. That's more or less my goals and just the vibe that I'm at. So let's see, what was I saying with that? So I think now it's kind of about mildly shifting my mindset from being solely focused on being able to bring whatever idea I have in my head to life, and instead focus on making the best videos possible. I mean, it could be really anything that you focus on, but like having one thing to focus on, like your internal mantra or whatever, really, really helps. Helps in staying focused, it helps in staying motivated. Just any kind of clear message that you can repeat to yourself. It's like reminds you of what kind of track you want to be on. Because it's like if you just say like I want to be a streamer, I want to be a streamer, I want to be a streamer. It's like cool, but that doesn't keep you focused on like what kind of streamer. It's like I want to be. If you just say like I want to be a variety streamer, or like I want to be like a really dope like vibe streamer, or what, you know, something like that. Just like something more particular, or like pick some streamers that you already like, or creators or artists that you already like. Just anything that can keep you a little bit more focused than a blanket general goal of I want to be good at X or whatever. It's always helpful. So that's kind of where my mindset's at right now. What I want to try to shift it to over the next couple of months is like getting a lot better at making YouTube videos, making scripted content, or like video essay style stuff with a script, I should say. And then while I'm doing that, I'm also going to be thinking about how I can incorporate and integrate a lot more cool things into the stream. Because like right now, it's like there's a lot of stuff that I want to add to the stream, but it doesn't really matter if I add stuff to the stream if I don't have people in the stream viewing things. You know? What matters is about the advertising and stuff. So I feel like I'm at a decent point in terms of like just being on the mic, and I don't know. I'm less afraid, like not necessarily afraid, but I'm just less concerned about if I get viewers and like worrying about keeping them watching, like keeping them concurrent or whatever. Cause like earlier on I was more focused on like really grinding out things that will be specific to my stream and like just stuff that nobody else is really doing, which is cool and all, but like until I get it to a more polished and refined level, it's not really doing me that much of a benefit, because people aren't really seeing the end picture, the end goal. They're just seeing like an unfinished product, which is kind of like halfway decent for a few seconds, but not enough to sustain somebody's attention for a long period of time. But conversely, I feel better about like my ability to just continue talking while I'm playing. Before I was kind of bad about just kind of focusing more on the game. So now that I'm better about just maintaining a stream of consciousness and talking and stuff, I'm just a lot more confident with like if I start putting out like banger after banger YouTube video and getting more of an audience, that I can actually like maintain it. But because I mean I'm always thinking like scalability and stuff. It's like if I might be able to do something at a small scale, but if I can't continue to grow that, then like I don't really want to focus too much on that. And like my thought process was like if I put out a really high effort video and get people in my stream, and I'm not that good at streaming, and they just come in and see that it's not good, then that's just a bad first impression, and it just didn't seem like the best idea. It's like, I don't know, it's like if you see like a really good advertisement for like a restaurant and then you go check them out and they're like, food is ass. It's like, that was your introduction to them, and now you're probably not going to want to go back for at least a while. You know? That's just, and it's kind of a self-limiting mindset, I agree, but at the same time, it's not the worst mindset to be in. But I've grown to appreciate Mr. Beast's kind of cast a wider net kind of vibe. Because at the end of the day, one of my main goals on stream, there's like probably 2 or 3 main goals. Number one is to be inspiring to other creators, of just being able to like do stuff yourself, you know, just being able to like take things into your own hand and get better and all that kind of stuff. And then number two, probably just having a way to put content out, like live streaming stuff, where I don't have to spend like hours and hours working on it until it's like perfect. Because like before, if I don't have like a really good idea that I'm working towards or whatever, then I'll kind of get sidetracked and start like working on some other project or whatever. And if I'm streaming, then it's a more like direct from farm to table kind of approach with my audience. Ah, missed him. Come back. Whoa. It's crazy. But let's see, what other was my other goal? Also, I want to be able to like have like a decent amount of viewers just playing Black Ops. That'd be really sick. But also, probably one of my other biggest goals is also to like grow a really, really dope and creative fan base. Like not just a cool fan base that's like really diehard and like watches the videos and stuff, but like I really like Atriox's community and how there's so many people that are making really dope artwork and content and music and stuff. Like it's just really sick. Same thing with like Kanye. Like over the years, Kanye has amassed this community of like people that are constantly like making edited versions of his like songs and albums and stuff, and there's just like all this content being made around that person, whatever. And I feel like getting a diehard fan base is sick and like something I'm looking to try to amass. But I also want to make sure that it's like I'm growing like a community that is like inspired by my work enough to make really cool stuff. That's like kind of like long and short of it, which I guess is kind of like back into my main goal of like just inspiring people. But it's kind of like a twofold thing of like get people inspired and also like build a really solid community for like creating stuff. And I don't want it to be like Kenny Beats' community is really sick, where it's focused on music production and like art creation and stuff. But I don't want like I want the stuff to be more of like an Atriox type community, where like the stream isn't necessarily always about like music or production or creation or whatever, but it's a central theme, and because of that it also attracts a lot of people. If that makes sense. I don't know, I'm kind of rambling and I'm not 100% sure like the best way to convey that, but it's basically like I just really like the way the Atriox community kind of worked out. And if I can kind of like take some inspiration and try to harness some of that, like just encourage like other music and art creators and stuff like that. It's just a good thing overall. GG. I like how, because I was talking that entire time, I went like 12 and 33. But, so let's see, what was I talking about? I'm down for radiation. Local. You can't see it, but I misspelled LOL with a K. That dude went 96 and 5. Yeah, it's really sick just to like have this kind of like side part of like the stream going on where people are like creating and just like working together on stuff. It's just so sick. I don't know, there's something about that is just really appealing to me, like even before I really like was really serious about wanting to start streaming and everything. Just that side of things of like amassing that kind of community, it's just such a cool thing to me. I'm not really sure how I want to go about doing that. Like I don't know if just doing like contests or whatever on stream is like the best way to do it. Because I don't want, like, what I don't want it to be is like what happens a lot of time with a lot of music production communities is like eventually people like just start going there just for the promotion. And I want it to be kind of more about just the creating and having fun with making stuff instead of just being like another advertising avenue. Which is like, I'm so like aware of that because I've definitely used Atriarch's stream like that before. So like, I'm just aware of it from the get-go, so it's like, let me try to not do that. But, I don't know. I just got like a lot of cool stuff that I want to do on the stream, so it's gonna be fun. Just getting better, grinding. But like I was saying a minute ago, like I gotta focus on making better like YouTube videos and like having that kind of net to cast and like reel people in. But like I feel like I'm at like a good point to start doing that too. Now that I actually have like income, I have like a part-time job because I took off. I like quit my job in like October so I could get this stream like set up and do some other stuff. And just because I hadn't taken a break from working in a long time, and I was getting kind of stressed towards the end of that because like my savings were running extremely low, and it's just really like kind of hurts the creative process if I'm super stressed out about making money or whatever. So now that I have like a part-time job again, and I'm like able to do social media stuff and like edit the YouTube videos or whatever, I can like practice making videos while making money, and then I feel like it's just gonna help me like help the YouTube videos on my channel flow a lot more easily. God, that guy keeps getting dogs. True. 100%. Like having it be more about the stream is like definitely like a good dividing kind of factor. But even then, like I've definitely like taken advantage of stuff like that with my stuff that I posted on Atriarch stuff, where it's like about Atriarch, but like it's also just me being the typical like rapper braggadocious kind of thing of like just hyping myself up too. So I don't know, it's just kind of funny. It's really interesting doing that kind of thing in like an online community as well, because if there's one thing that I've learned over the years about like just online communities in general, it's that they hate self-promotion like really badly. And I get it, but it's just always been funny to me, like Reddit in particular is like a place that's basically like lives and breathes off of like other people's content, and like kind of like when people make original content on Reddit, like it really helps out like the overall like community and everything. But like I don't know, people just kind of hate self-promotion so much that they just kind of overlook original content. I don't know, but it's just funny how that kind of stuff works out. It's like your community relies on people making that content, but then you really hate when people make that content and spend like days, weeks, months on that, and then they want to like make sure that some people watch it, you know? It's like, of course they're going to want to be able to do whatever they can if they put that much time into it. Because that's kind of one of my biggest things that always really annoys me, is if I spend like a really long time on something, when I put it up, I want at least some people to watch it. Like even if it's only like 10 or 20 people, it's like, as long as it's not 0, you know, as long as like a handful of people are able to give it some sort of a chance, that's all I really care about. And then if it performs well in like the YouTube algorithm after that, that's cool. But like, what's so annoying to me is like the YouTube Shorts algorithm. How like sometimes I'll post stuff on there and it'll just get like 0 views. And it's like, what's the point in that? It's like, if you're not gonna at least show it to a couple of people, and like the Shorts feed is different than like the regular YouTube channel kind of stuff where like it's all in the Shorts feed. I don't know, what's the point of having it set up like that where something can get 0? Because I feel like TikTok is like pretty well known for being like solid for like newer creators, where it's kind of like that mobile game kind of strategy where they'll like put you in like the easier lobbies to start off with, so you feel better about the game or whatever. So you like feel better about that. Where'd he go? What the hell? It's kind of like gamified in that way, where they make it like easier for people starting out or whatever. And I feel like YouTube doesn't do that as much. And basically I'm just admitting to being like a YouTube noob, but I mean, hey, everybody starts out being one, so who cares? I'm just glad I'm not like super grindy about, yeah, it has like a better algorithm for like getting some traction. Because I mean, honestly, like at the end of the day, that's like why people make stuff, is to have people view it. So like it's pretty clear, it's like, hey, if you incentivize some people early on, then they'll continue to make content or whatever. But I mean, YouTube is YouTube, it's a big conglomerate or whatever, so like I've kind of like lost faith in basically like every big corporation or company or whatever in like in terms of like doing something or maintaining something that they've set up. Like I've been burned by Google so many times over the years on like the products that they've killed and everything. Like most recently with shit, I swear this guy, whenever he gets close to me, I can't kill him. He starts wiggling around like a goddamn worm. But like I've been using Google domains for like years because it has a free like protection against, like whenever you register a domain name or whatever, you have to put like some contact information and like your email address and like your email address or your physical address or whatever. And like GoDaddy and like Namecheap, I think they like make you pay to have that information privated or whatever, but Google has that for free. So I've been using Google domains for like years, and then now they announced like 2 days ago that they are selling it, their entire domains thing, to Squarespace. And it's just, I hate it so much. Like I went through this with Google Play Music. I have been using Google Play Music since 2014 until like 2020, and then they wrap it into YouTube Music and make it into a turd. And I've got like 100 YouTube playlists and like 100 Google Play Music playlists. And now whenever I go on like YouTube Music, it just lumps everything together. And it's like, that's not what I want. Stupid YouTube. And because of that, I'm swapping over to like Apple Music. Mostly just because it has a pretty nice user interface. They've got like some decent exclusive content kind of stuff. Ideally, one day I want to get like just my own private media server set up, and just basically like a Plex server, but also with music and like YouTube videos and stuff. But because I've already got like, I'm kind of a data hoarder, so like any kind of like YouTube playlist that I've been building over like the last like 10, 11, 12 years, I'm just gonna die here. I like download all of my YouTube playlists because I was just so tired of like having a YouTube playlist and then having videos get like privated or deleted or whatever. So I was like, fuck this, I'm just gonna start archiving everything. And it's one of the best decisions I've ever made because there's hundreds of videos over the years that have been lost on YouTube itself. And like there's been videos where people are like on like Reddit or whatever, like, hey, does anybody have this video? And I'll like post like, yeah, I've got this video, just DM me. And then like I'll still get messages on that video that people want like 5 years later. So I've always appreciated that kind of like aspect of like being an archivist and just like preserving this, all this data that everybody feels like is going to be around forever, because like the internet never forgets until some company decides that the server cost isn't worth it anymore and they turn the servers off. And then it's up to like the independent archival teams to back everything up, which is why I've always been a huge supporter of the Internet Archive. Like I've made frequent donations to them throughout the years. Like random $5 or $10 donation here and there or whatever. And I don't know, it's just so crazy to me like how much stuff is like getting lost. Like, have you ever heard of the concept of like link rot, where you like go into some old forum or thread or whatever, and then like you try to click a link and then it's just dead? Or you like look at your old favorites from when you were like a kid, and like all of the websites are down or all of the images aren't hosted anymore. And like now we've had that in like an extreme major way, like within the past year or so, or 5 or 6 months, because you have Imager, the website that most people in Reddit use to like post images or whatever. They changed their stuff to where if you are an anonymous user, if you uploaded your thing like without being signed in, I'm pretty sure within the next month or so they're gonna like remove all that stuff. So that's like an entire decade's worth of like guides and like oh hey, what's up, North Wall? What was I saying? Like all these like guides and stuff and like internet posts or whatever, like all those are gonna be like pretty much gone. So like if you didn't save that post, or if it wasn't archived by the Internet Archive, then that kind of information is just lost. And kind of the same thing for like YouTube videos, as they get privated and deleted, and somebody's channel goes down because Universal Media Group like copyright strikes their channel, or Nintendo sends like 15 copyright strikes or whatever. Just stuff like that. And then also with Reddit's API stuff and all these subreddits going private, it's like even though Reddit themselves didn't delete that data. Oh, yours is a custom camo. That's interesting. I thought about trying to do some mod like that, but I haven't gotten around to trying to do that yet. Set it up. The only thing that I've done on here so far is just like doing like unlock all. Yeah, 100%, because like everything on the internet is so new, like comparatively. Like the internet's been around for like, I don't know, 28, 30 years or something like that. And you fucker. But like in the grand scheme of things, like if you think about like, I don't know, like newspapers or something like that, how long they've been around and how much of a resource they are for like learning about how things were back at a certain time period. And it's gonna be somebody's job in like 50 years to go back and try to like analyze like the culture and what was going on and everything. And shit, run away. And like I've always felt like that way, even about memes. Like even before they became like super mainstream and popular, like even back in like 2014, 2015, I still had this kind of like appreciation or like understanding, like, hey, even though this is kind of like bullshit, like jokes or whatever, like it's still culturally relevant. It still has an impact or whatever. And now like people can see that a lot more easily because of like, you know, memes affecting like things like the US presidential election and just all the other things and like affecting like Twitter and verification and memes and stock prices and stuff like that, like, and meme stocks or whatever. Hold on, I'll help you out. And like, I don't know, I really like Know Your Meme, the website, and also there's a YouTuber called Lessons in Meme Culture. He's really fire. He makes a lot of good content. I get like a lot of my like, I try to stay like on the pulse or in the zeitgeist through watching his videos, because I don't really actually get on like TikTok or Twitter, but I like to stay kind of in tune with what's going on out there in the world. But I've never really been big into Twitter ever in general. Like I've had an account since like 2008, but I've just literally never used it besides like hooking it up to like some automated like Facebook. There was this Facebook game I played probably in like 2011. It was called like Spy Master. I'm just gonna run away. It was called Spy Master, and basically you could set up your own spy clan and like, I don't know, go around and do challenges, and you had like a like a offshore bank account, like a Swiss bank account. Hey, got him. And I'd post like have like little updates automatically post on my Twitter for that. But besides that, those little like, automated posts, I've never been able to like consistently stick to Twitter. But what was I talking about? I was talking about memes, archiving stuff. I really need to get better about like about like actually backing up my stuff. Cause I've got I bought two 12 terabyte hard drives like a year and a half, 2 years ago, with the intention of just mirroring both of them, and like that way it's like an actual legitimate full backup. But instead I procrastinated, and now I have like two almost full 12 terabyte hard drives each that I'm gonna have to figure out how to like restructure and also back up. So that's gonna be fun. But I've got like legitimately like 750 like gigabytes of Twitch VODs. Of like Ludwig and Atrioc Twitch VODs. I don't know why. A lot of them though, honestly, are like Atrioc VODs from before anybody was really archiving them, or especially archiving them in HD. Because Atrioc didn't have a VODs channel, and for a while it was just a turtle eating controller that was posting the videos on like a channel, and his computer was like so low spec that he couldn't even upload 1080p videos for whatever reason. So like it was limited to 720p videos of all of those like early 2021 or late 2020 Atrioc streams. But I've got a pretty decent of them from around that time period, like December of 2020 leading into 2021. And then finally like he started doing like the VOD channel. But it's like I've got just random data like that where it's like I don't want to delete it because it's like it's not out there in high quality anywhere else on the internet, a lot of it, but it's also taking up a lot of space. But the good thing is that I'm glad that I'm a data hoarder instead of an actual hoarder, because like with a data hoarder you can just buy more hard drives, so it's not that crazy. With like a real hoarder you got like physical space to worry about. But that's also kind of why I'm really interested in like getting like the Apple Vision Pro, even though it's so expensive. I've had this idea for like since 2016 of having like an augmented reality file system. Like I feel like a lot of people have issues about staying like digitally organized and like keeping track of files and folders and stuff like that. And I think it'd be really cool to like, instead of just having your folders how they are just on your computer, to have them like if you can imagine walking up to like a physical filing cabinet, and then you know that in that filing cabinet it's like all of your gameplay footage or something like that. Like I think it'd be really sick to make a program for myself. It's just like some augmented reality filing system to like store and browse files and stuff. And then also like have stuff tagged so it can like gameplay footage will be kind of like in like the gaming category or something like that. I don't know. Something along those lines. It's always been really interesting to me. So like the really appealing thing about the Apple Vision Pro headset for me is just the fact that they've finally gotten stuff like the spatial sensing, where like you can put a window at one part of your room and then like walk around, and when you come back to it, it's going to be in the exact same location. Yeah, 100% memory palace, that kind of concept. Just in AR. I feel like that'd be really sick just for like myself, but also I feel like other people could benefit from it too. Like people that just aren't good at like getting the concept of oh shit. That aren't good at like getting the concept of managing digital files and stuff. Like old people suck at like organizing and understanding files. And even like people my age and a little bit younger, like people that are like millennials or zoomers or whatever, that's one thing that's always been so interesting to me is like growing up using a computer and being there kind of like the wild west stage of the internet. I was always kind of like a nerd, and I would like always be looking into like how I can like make my computer more customized and tweak it and like get like a really cool looking like not overlay or dashboard, but like just customizing everything I can on my computer and just learning about stuff. And I was assuming that like the younger generation, like the Zoomers, were gonna be like more tech savvy, but because people are mostly just interacting with like cell phones and Chromebooks and tablets and stuff, it's I don't know, they're kind of like less tech savvy than people in my generation, which is like really surprising to me. Because it's, I don't know, I guess it's because they made everything so mainstream and like easily digestible. What the hell is that? I guess they made it so easily digestible or whatever that like people aren't, you know, feeling like it's worth it to really learn how to do something. But I mean, I guess that goes along with just things in general. It's like what people's hobbies and interests are. It's like a lot of people just aren't interested in learning and doing a lot of stuff out there. Like personal finance, it's like good luck trying to get me to get interested in that. Do I have education in computer science? Self-taught? Yeah, I'm pretty much entirely self-taught. I went to college, like I went to community college for like a 2-year degree in computer science, but I basically ended up not taking any actual computer science classes. I just took like a bunch of random classes that I was just having fun with, like, you know, your biologies, your psychologies, your physics, your chemistry, and stuff like that. I took like one like digital forensics class, but I didn't really take any programming classes. What's funny is that for my 2-year degree, I ended up staying there for like 4 years, just because I was just fucking around, just taking random extra classes. But for pretty much my entire life, I've been pretty good about like getting into the mindset of like, oh, I can just go on YouTube or Google and like teach myself this. So, which has been pretty dope for most things, but like for other things like learning an instrument, it's been really difficult because I feel like having that kind of in-person feedback of somebody like analyzing what you're doing is really, really helpful and like also like really motivating. So it's like I've been able to teach myself like music production and like 3D animation and video editing and stuff like that and rapping, but in terms of like actually sitting down and making myself learn the guitar or drums or keyboard, I've never been able to be consistent with it. So I don't know, but what's really sick about me like streaming and everything is that this is the first time where I've been like trying to learn something like in a performance kind of mindset. Everything else that I've been doing in my entire life that I've ever been kind of like decent or like naturally talented at or whatever has always been like me sitting in front of some like gray computer program for hours on end, tweaking it until I'm happy with it. So streaming has been such a change in mindset for me, just because it's like, you know, you can't really plan ahead and prepare. It just happens, and you got to roll with whatever happens. So it's been really fun, like, to stretch my brain in this kind of way, because I've always wanted to get better at just like freestyle rapping in general. I've never been good at freestyling. Like, I take that back. I can freestyle like the way that artists in the studio freestyle, like Kanye and Kendrick and Frank Ocean and Travis Scott and Young Thug all freestyle, where it's not really like words that you're freestyling, it's just more like syllables and a flow, like just saying, like making noises with your mouth in order to have like a rough idea of what you want to make, and then adding in the lyrics or whatever later. It was so close. So like, I can freestyle that way pretty nicely, but like in terms of like doing like your traditional just like actual words freestyle, I've always been like, I have this like mental block where I want to be like able to rap like Lupe Fiasco. That was sick. That was a good ass initial. I want to be like Lupe Fiasco, where he can freestyle and like it sounds like a coherent kind of like theme to it. Like it sounds like it could be like a song or whatever. It's not like completely all over the place. It's got like some structure to it, sort of. And if you try to start like that, then you're just gonna get discouraged like every time you try. So like a lot of time I'll be hanging out with friends and we'll have like some beat playing or whatever, and I'll just get like too caught up in my head and self-conscious, and I'll end up like not even freestyling or just like vibing along with whatever everybody else is doing, even though I'm like pretty confident in like my ability to rap. I still have that like mental blockage that's just hard to get over, because it's like I have a idea of where I want to be, but then whenever I like try to like perform and do that, it doesn't match up. So there's just this kind of like disconnect. And that's kind of what I was a little bit nervous about in streaming. Not necessarily nervous, like I wasn't really afraid to stream, but like it's like I have this idea of being like larger than life, or making content that's like really huge and feels really massive or whatever. And so far I've been able to do that fairly well with some of the stuff that I've done in the HROC community. Mostly the stuff like leading up to the 1-9 freestyle. Like I felt like that was like a really cool exercise in like building up hype for a project, and then coming through and like delivering on that hype and having everybody be really satisfied with it. And like in my head, I want to be like this really great, energetic presenter on stream, and like I don't know, the process of like being okay with sucking. I mean, it's just always a healthy mindset to be in. So I don't know, I'm just really glad that I'm like staying consistent with streaming. Cause like honestly, I've gotten kind of like a cheat code to I don't know, just doing stuff without an audience, because I started making music in like 2016. I was like, okay, I want to like actually start learning how to make music, and I was making like absolute trash, like everybody does when they start. And like at some point I started to get kind of decent, and like there was stuff that I was like, I could post this online, but I don't want to, because I want to have like a full like body of work fleshed out a little bit before I even start putting stuff out. Because like I've seen so many people that like they'll have some like big thing that takes off, like a song or something, or they have some sort of moment, and then whenever they can't get like their album out quick enough, then they kind of fall off and become like a one-hit wonder. Or like they were in such a focused mindset making whatever kind of stuff that got them popular, like Chance the Rapper. It's like he was in this mindset for so long and made acid rap, and then he took off of like making music and was like touring and like doing all this other stuff for so long that kind of lost the stuff that people really were attached to him for at the beginning. Like he still makes good music, like Coloring Book was still good, but like I really didn't like it that much. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people felt like people that were really big fans of acid rap weren't really big fans of that album per se. But he did get like a lot of newer fans that came in that like were appreciative of Coloring Book or whatever, because at the end of the day it was like a good album, but it's like not what people came there for in the first place. And so I had this kind of idea of like I want to have like 2 or 3 albums before I even put out any music at all. So I mean it's been like a good thing and a bad thing. A good thing just because it's like I haven't gotten in that cycle of like getting addicted to like the engagement and attention and activity or whatever, because like I first got a taste of this on like Instagram back in like 2018. I started posting stuff on Instagram, and I was like really focused on like making sure I had to upload every day and like learning better hashtags and doing stuff that like gets better engagement and all that stuff. And I basically like no life focused that for like 2 weeks before I kind of got burnt out, and it was just so exhausting of like I realized like how much I had gotten addicted to like posting something and watching like the likes come in or whatever. So like I was like, okay, I don't want to do that anymore. So I was like really kind of like happy with like the fact that I had been in this mindset of like working on stuff and making stuff without feeling necessary for it to be like released out to the public. So what that did was like it kind of gave me this back catalog of my own stuff. So it's like I've got like all these like pieces of music and like photography and all this kind of stuff that I've been building up over the years. Just kind of got my own like little library kind of going on. And so what all doing that and kind of not putting anything out for like 7 years of making music has done is it's made it where like I don't have to have the feedback to keep me like motivated and engaged in streaming, which is like one of the big things that I was like aware of whenever I was like watching like Ludwig talk about becoming a streamer, all that kind of stuff. It's like you're gonna be at like 0 or 1 viewers for a long ass time. So like for me, I'm not really worried about that. It's like all just a matter of time of me continuing to be consistent and getting better and putting it out there. But yeah, 100% about like having a back catalog and everything. Like it's good because, okay, so I'm working on like a video game. It's like a bunch of racing mini games called like Atriot Racing 2. And what's sick is that I was like, okay, I want to make a video game. Holy shit, I've got this entire back catalog of like random little beats that I've been making over the past like years, and I can just use it for whatever I want. It's all mine. I don't have to worry about paying any licensing fees or royalties or worrying about, I don't know, doing any of that kind of stuff. It's all mine. And a lot of it is like stuff that like it sounds like video game music. Like it's not really like fully like a hip hop beat or anything that I want to rap over. It's just some kind of little quirky little whatever. You know what I'm saying? So like whenever I was going through trying to find music for making that soundtrack or whatever, I was able to look through it and I found like an easy like 80 or 90 tracks. Not necessarily like all fully fleshed out stuff. Most of it's just loops or whatever. But even then, it's like just having that to pull from is so sick. But yeah, I definitely want to get better about posting more YouTube videos, because that's one thing I've been procrastinating for like years, is like sitting down and making like video essays kind of style stuff. That's one thing I had a super big mental block about in posting stuff in the HROC community. It's like I can make a song about something a lot easier than I can just sitting down in front of a microphone and talking to a camera or whatever. So that kind of held me back for a while, because like I'd post something and HROC just kind of wouldn't get it. He'd be like, okay, that's cool and all, but he wouldn't get like the underlying vibe of what I was trying to say. So it was kind of like a blessing and a curse. It's like, it's really sick that I can make dope music, but at the same time, it's limiting me, because I'm like, instead of trying to like grind at this other thing that I'm gonna suck at, talking at a camera or whatever, I'm just gonna fall back to the thing that I already kind of know. And I'm in the same kind of mindset and trying to get over that with like collaboration in general. It's so easy for me to sit by myself and just grind for a couple of days on a project, instead of worrying about trying to collaborate with somebody else and like make sure, or like asking them if they've like finished whatever they were gonna work on it, or like I don't know, it's just like so much work in pulling stuff together when you're working in like a collaborative kind of thing, unless you're like in the same room at the same time. Which is why like those big community projects are so cool to me, because like, I don't know, I'd suck at like actually trying to organize and get all like people like motivated to like actually turn in whatever they were working on or whatever. It's like I'd probably just end up getting frustrated with how long they were taking on it and just do it myself. And that's one thing I want to try to get better at in the next couple of months when I start working on more YouTube videos and stuff, is just branching out more and like trying to be more collaborative, even if it's like not even necessarily something for my own channel, just in general, of like actually having like a back and forth creative process. Because it's like I've done stuff before where like I would make something for somebody, but not necessarily just that like back and forth. Like for example, in the One Last Hit community project that Austin put together and like got everybody together on, like I helped out on that by making some of the visuals, but it was more of like okay, I'm just gonna knock this out and turn it in and then be done with it, instead of like send it to somebody, they do something or think of some ideas and come back at it. So that's kind of where I want to try to grow at. Like there's like, I guess 3 or 4 main things I'm trying to get better at and grow at right now is streaming and presenting, working on like editing video essay style YouTube videos, like where I'm just like talking at a camera, and also collaborating. Those are the 3 things that I suck at and don't have a lot of experience at, and that's kind of what I'm trying to focus on right now. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's like you focus on just listening to the music instead of the underlying message. And a lot of artists like use that to their advantage, where they can say basically whatever they want, and then like as long as the song sounds good, the people are just gonna listen to it or whatever. And then you have like all those songs with like, ooh, spooky hidden message or whatever, and that's like really sick. But then at the same time, it's like when you want your message out there, it's like a really difficult balance of like directing people's attention to what's being said in the lyrics versus the overall sound of the song. But I mean, that's one thing that I've always been trying to be like cognizant of. It's like I don't ever want to feel like I have to force any kind of like idea or message into like a song or something, because it's like it's like this mental check thing. It's like that I wrote down. It's kind of like just a message that I want to like always remember. It's like I am able to make stuff in like multiple different formats. Like it doesn't have to be music. So don't ever feel pressured to force some kind of thing into a musical form factor. Because that's how it can kind of feel sometimes. It's like if I want to do something that's like a positive for some social movement or whatever, I don't have to make a song about it. I can make like a serious video about it instead. So like that's something I always like want to try to remember and remind myself of, is I'm not stuck into making something one type of way. Because that's really kind of tangential to like a lot of like rappers that are just getting like started or whatever, of like where they want to be like the lyrical spiritual miracle, and they'll come in there and they'll work so hard on trying to like just have some lyrics or whatever stuff that rhymes, instead of paying attention like how good it actually sounds. So then you get people, they like make songs and they're like really really cringy, because they're just trying to be like overly forced, and they're trying to overly force like whatever they're trying to put into the song. And it's like if you just relax, and it's like you got to be able to kill your darlings, you know? That's one, like whenever I heard that phrase, like that resonated with me so hard, because it's like you got to be able to like get excited about something like some sort of rhyme scheme that you have going on, some sort of theme. And it's like if you're working on something and it's just not working out, or like it's gonna sound too forced, or like you can't deliver it right, be okay with just taking that part out. It's like it's not where you were working at initially, but the thing to focus on is just the overall quality of the whole content itself, the whole piece itself. Shit. That bot got me. But yeah, it's so interesting, because it's like you've seen it time and time again with all these like YouTube rappers especially. It's like all these other guys are just mumble rappers, mumble crappers or whatever, and it's just so stupid, because it's like at its core there's like it's like any kind of like flawed mentality. It's like at its core there's a couple of pieces of truth, where it's like it would be sick if there were more artists that were like more focused on putting out some sort of message like in their lyrics, instead of just focusing on party tracks or whatever is going to be good on the radio. Yeah, 100%. Like Black Thought is really really sick about like being good, like quality content wise, and like making something that's really dope to listen to, and also delivering a message. Like that's super inspirational to me. Him and Lupe Fiasco. But Lupe, okay, hold on. This is like a completely different tangent. Lupe and Jid and J. Cole all are falling into a trap right now. And it's all kind of making their music a little bit mediocre. And it's because they are focusing on just working with like one producer. Like Jid only works with Christo. J. Cole like only works with people in Dreamville, and or only has himself on his albums and stuff. And then Lupe also only works with one producer. And it's like, that's really respectable, that's cool, but at the end of the day, it makes your albums just a little bit less diverse and dynamic as they could be. And it really kind of like, overall, I'd say it's like an overall like really positive thing, but it does kind of hold their albums back from like the stuff that I've been hearing from all those artists recently. Like Jid's albums, it's like, I really like Jid's last album, but at the same time, I didn't really come back to it that much and like re-listen to it because it's like, the beats are all from the same producer. Like, even for myself, like I'm a producer too, but like, I'd never feel pressured to only rap over my own beats. And honestly, I prefer a lot of time not to rap on my own beats because whenever I'm listening to a track, it's hard for me to get over that, like listening to it from like a music production standpoint of like, what can I add or change this beat to make it better, instead of how can I rap on this. But when it's somebody else's track that's already finished and complete, then it's a lot more easy for me to just like be like, okay, well the thing I'm gonna be adding to this is just my voice. So I mean, that's something I'm also trying to get better at, is like making tracks that I want to rap over. Because a lot of the time I'll just start like working on something, and I've always had this kind of process where it's like I don't have like an end goal in sight. I just kind of mold it like a clay sculpture and just kind of like work at it. And I'll start with some like synthesizer or some melody that's just absolute trash, just like super what's the word I'm looking for, like just kind of cringe and kitschy and campy or whatever. Wait, how am I on a 5 kill streak? Oh, no, I don't know. On the little message on the left hand side of the server, it said I had a 5 kill streak, but I'm on a 3. But like it'll sound really cringe to begin with, but then throughout the process, like that synthesizer will like change to something else, or I'll add in like a drum track, and then when I add in the drum track, then I just like get a completely different idea and just immediately like remove the initial like cringe sounding synthesizer, and like the end beat is completely different from what I started with. So I mean, I've always been kind of in that I have no idea what I'm going to be working on kind of mindset, and it's like cool and all because that means I can go into kind of any kind of project and I don't get discouraged when it's not sounding good. But it's also something I'd like to get better at, is like having an idea and just focusing on getting that fleshed out. Because I feel like I get sidetracked a lot when I'm working on music. With like video stuff, it's a lot easier for me because I just I don't have the most vivid like imagination in terms of like picturing things in my head, like from what I've noticed. Like whenever I'm really drunk or high or about to fall asleep, I can picture things in my head like really vividly, and then outside of those circumstances, my visual imagination is like basically like black and white, kind of like looking through like a screen, like a mesh screen. So when it comes to like visual stuff, a lot of the time if I have like an idea for something, it's easier for me to keep that mental picture because it's not that vivid to begin with. It's like, I don't know, I'm not as like bouncing around a whole bunch of ideas in my head. It's more just like sticking on one kind of basic idea and building around that instead of going in and just kind of bouncing around continuously. But I don't know, that's kind of my vibe with that. Let me get some water. I'm thirsty. Good old H2O. I've always been like a water drinker, like a water main. Ever since I did like cross country in high school. Because I started doing cross country and I started like cutting out sodas and everything, and I realized like how much better I felt in general. Just like being less like, I don't know, bloated or gassy or groggy or tired or whatever. I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like once you cut it out, you kind of realize like how it feels to not have that. Like, so whenever you cut out, if you've ever tried to cut out like excess sugar from your diet, like it's so hard to begin with. It's like there's so many things that have added sugar, but like after you do it for like 2 weeks, it's like a lot of stuff that you used to like, it's disgusting to you because it has so much sugar. And it's kind of like that with sodas for me. It's like I'll have the occasional like Mountain Dew or Dr. Pepper, Mountain Dew Voltage, but most of the time it's like I don't even want one because it's like if I drink the whole thing, then my stomach's just gonna get all bubbly. So I just drink a lot of water. I really like those water flavoring things, like the Mio, whatever. Especially the ones that have like caffeine. Oh, I love those. Cause that way I can just like skip making a coffee or whatever. Just put some damn juice in a water and call it a day. Shit's fire. But I'm always kind of been on the mindset of yeah, it's really crazy once you get out of that like drinking soda kind of phase or whatever. And like especially if you're in America and you like think about like how many people like their primary thing that they drink is like soda. It's like a lot of people that I know like don't even drink water like by itself. It's just so crazy to think about. It's like they'll drink like soda or like iced tea or sweet tea or whatever, or just I don't know, anything but water. It's so nuts. Because it's like one thing that you have to have. So it's like, why not get it straight from the source? But I am a little bit biased when it comes to stuff like that because especially in the last like 5 years or so, like I have become more and more a person that eats to live instead of lives to eat. Like I don't really derive that much pleasure from eating food. It's not something that like I get really excited about. So I'm fine with like eating like meat and cheese sandwiches day in and day out. Which is pretty nice because that means that I get to eat like I'm pretty good about eating healthy food as long as it's like something quick and easy. So I'm good about just getting the exact same thing at the grocery store every single time, just about, and just sticking to like a pretty consistently semi-healthy diet. Like it might be like mostly like frozen meals or whatever for a while, but it's at least like the like chicken and pasta or like vegetable kind of meals or whatever. So it's like at least somewhat decently healthy. But like I drink a lot of protein shakes. A lot of protein shakes. I love those. It's like a meal replacement, like meal addition kind of thing. Oh, I love it. Because it's like a lot of time I don't really care what I'm eating or whatever. As long as it's somewhat decent tasting and gives me nutrients and makes me not hungry, then that's fire. So protein shakes are just killer. Especially like stuff like midnight snacks. It's like there's a lot of time where I like wake up at like 4 or 5 in the morning for whatever reason, and I've struggled at like going to sleep. So it's like I'll wake up at like 3, 4, 5 in the morning and then like not be tired anymore, and sometimes it'll be because I'm like a little hungry, and it's like I don't want to get up and go like make some food and like then I'm actually awake. But if I have like some protein shakes, I can just go drink one of those and then go back to sleep. Do I have a stream schedule? Not 100%. That's one thing that I want to get better on too. I generally stream, let's see, around like 7 or 8 p.m. Central Time. I don't know. I try to get around there. Sometimes I end up going like starting around like 9 a lot of the time. But that's one thing I need to like actually get set up and like stick to it. But yeah, typically like I haven't been streaming a lot the past 3 or 4 days or so or whatever, but generally like weekdays, honestly even on the weekends too, around like 7 p.m. is when I get on. Yeah, that's usually when you can expect me to get on. But I'll definitely, I probably need to just like make like a little stream schedule thing and like post it on my like channel page or whatever. But like until this point, I haven't been really that crazy focused on like growing the audience too much. It's been more of me just getting comfortable and like remaining talking on stream. And now I'm at the point where I can just continue talking or whatever. So I feel a lot more comfortable about like getting more focused on the other parts of like getting more viewers and stuff like that. Cause it's like I just didn't really want to be like, I didn't want to get a whole bunch of viewers and then they come in and they get a bad first impression. That's kind of what I've been trying to avoid. So, but now I feel like I'm not too worried about like somebody coming in and me just not talking or whatever. So I feel more confident about doing the advertising kind of stuff. I mean, I felt the same way when I was working at like a small business that was like I don't want to be putting out all these ads, getting people to come into our website and like leaving a message or sending us an email or calling us and getting contact with us, and then we like drop the ball on getting in contact with them or something like that. It's like if you're gonna get people in the door, then you might as well, you know, give them your whole attention and make their stay worthwhile. So like, I don't know, like when I was working at a smaller business, it's like if we're not gonna focus on you know, actually maintaining, like making sure all the emails are getting answered or whatever, then how am I supposed to get motivated about getting more people looking at our stuff? So I mean, that's kind of my mindset that I had towards it. But now, like I said, I'm at the point where it's like I'm not as worried or whatever about like just somebody coming in the stream and I'm sitting there just like playing shit Call of Duty without talking or whatever. And also I worked out a lot of the like technical difficulties and kinks and stuff in the stream, because the stream setup that I have is like so ridiculously complicated. Like I have 3 computers running, and I use 2 microphones and all kinds of stuff to get this stuff set up. And like just getting like the video routed between the computers and the audio routed back and forth was so like daunting of a task, because I don't have a capture card, so I have to do all the video stuff that I send back and forth just over my router. So like a lot of that was like trial and error, figuring out like how much bandwidth is too much bandwidth. I had some issue where like I had like a bad Ethernet cable on my like computer where I actually play games on, and I would just randomly have it like drop out and just not be sending any video or audio. And for like a couple of days I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why does it keep doing this? And it was just because the cable was bad. It's always so trippy whenever you have like a cable like that, like an Ethernet cable or HDMI cable that goes bad, because generally like in like a headphone cable, if it starts to go bad, it goes crackly and you can kind of tell. But like in an Ethernet cable, if it's messed up, you'll still get some bandwidth, like it'll still work. So it's just less obvious, I guess. It's just like always one of those things where it's like you want to procrastinate actually checking the cable. It's like, no, I want to check out all these other programs and whatever else is going on the computer. But yeah, like one of the biggest issues that I've had on stream is just having my audio and video, like my face synced up. Like there's been so many streams where like I'll like either forget to check or I'll check and then something will change or whatever, and this stuff will get slightly delayed, and then I won't even notice until after the stream. And also, like if you go back and look at like my first like 2 streams, I was all like, ooh, I'm gonna be Billy Badass and not do like a test stream. I'm just gonna say fuck it, we're gonna do it live. And then so because of that, like not only is my video like just complete ass, just absolutely awful. Also, my noise gate was so fucked up that like on my first stream you can't even hear like anything that I'm saying. I'm just some idiot loser just like laughing to myself, and you can't even tell what I'm saying. It's it's so fucking stupid. And it's funny because like that was like my first stream, and I had like a pretty decent bit of subscribers, just some people that subscribe for my Atriot content. So then they'd come in, or like they'd like see it recommended to them like a couple of days after, see it, and then unsubscribe. So like those streams like got like 30 views or whatever. Like I think after the stream went up, just people watching the VOD. And it was just such a bad first impression. That's also partially what like guided me to that mindset of like not wanting to give people a bad first impression. Because it's like, damn, I got like all these people that subscribe to me, then they come in and they just see this and they're like, I'm out. But in terms, speaking about just like the stream setup and everything, something I haven't been streaming with a lot recently is like I have like hand like smart glove motion capture stuff. So I do have hands, but like for the past couple of weeks I've been playing a shit ton of Call of Duty, just doing a face cam. But like I have all this stuff that I have set up. How did I kill him? That was, what the fuck just happened? Did I kill him and I don't think he died from fall damage. Okay, he's lagging pretty hard. Okay. But so like one of the things that I set up for the stream is like VR sculpting. So like basically like I'm like an earthbender, and wherever I point I can make like, I can build like a hill or a mountain or like a sphere, and then I can also like erase stuff. So it's basically like sculpting, but with like grass. It's kind of like Minecraft, but cooler. And also I've got this thing set up where I want to get like a, if you've ever seen like Google's tilt brush where you can like paint or draw in VR, I've got like a thing that I can set up to do something like that. I've been procrastinating adding that in, but that's kind of what I want to do, is have it where I can like sculpt and then also like paint and add additional cool stuff on there. I've also been trying to get more in a habit of doing more like music production streams and stuff. Just like making beats and like rapping and stuff like that. Like just trying to do as much as I can to like show my creative process and kind of like help other people out in like just showing like what goes on behind the scenes. And like I'm I learned a lot just from like watching other rappers and producers in the studio over the years. So I kind of want to like give back to that in some sort of way, and like kind of put out like resources of like tutorials and just like I want to try to give all of my music and videos and stuff I make like out in the public domain, so that people can just use them regardless, like without even giving credit. Like I don't even give a shit. Somebody steals the shit and just takes full credit for it. Like somebody can take my entire goddamn stream and just rehost it somewhere else. I don't care. That's just kind of my mindset. Like I just kind of want to give back to the internet as much as possible, because it's like kind of where I've gotten like all of my cultural knowledge and entertainment and education over the years from the internet. So like I'm kind of interested in just giving back as much as I can in any way that I can. And it's like I create stuff, so might as well just put stuff out there that people can just take or whatever. And I don't want to just put out like the beats or whatever. Like I want to put out like all of like the stems and like any kind of like presets that I make or whatever, project files and stuff. So that's kind of like the goal that I'm working towards, is like getting something like that set up, like having like a repository or something like that. Not really sure how I want to have that set up, but that's kind of where I want to go. Just have like, make my channel just a resource for anybody that needs, I don't know, stuff. Who knows if anybody's going to use it, but I mean, I don't know. That's like kind of my mindset about like people are like all concerned about like, oh, the people took my stuff to train on like AI or whatever. Like they took my artwork and trained AI on it. It's like, I get why you're upset, but like unless somebody's like directly copying your shit one for one, and I mean they are stealing people's like art styles and stuff, and that is kind of like, it sucks. But like my mindset is like, you're by putting your stuff out there on the internet like for free, or like making it public to like the mass audience or whatever, general audience, general population. It's like you're kind of like using this big free resource that everybody kind of contributes to, like internet in general, of like all these people's computers coming together and making it possible. So it's like kind of a little bit selfish to not want to give back to that in some sort of way, in my opinion. It's like I don't really shame anybody else that doesn't have that opinion, but that's just kind of my take on it, and my kind of general vibe and attitude is like, I'm taking advantage of all of this free shit, all of these years, and all of these like just getting people's thoughts and ideas and opinions and Reddit comments and YouTube tutorials and videos and all of this stuff. And it's like I try to give back in like a monetary fashion when I can, like supporting creators and subscribing to them, buying like Patreon stuff or whatever. But I'd also like to just give back in the same kind of way that I've benefited. So that's kind of my vibe on it. But if you can't tell, I'm huge into piracy though. So I'll always be a huge advocate for just pirating stuff, especially if you're like newly getting into creating stuff. It's like steal every goddamn program that you want. Don't go too crazy on downloading plugins, because it can be bad. It can be detrimental if you like overuse plugins and stuff. Like definitely try to like actually take the time to like learn and get good at the core program first, regardless of what it is, like if it's Blender or whatever. But like especially if you're not making any money on it, like don't be afraid to steal that shit. Just blatantly, just do whatever. But that's kind of my take on it. But I've been like pirating like movies and shit since I was like 11 or 12. So it's kind of been something I'm used to for a long time. Kind of grew up with it. But also it's still crazy how many people are like defensive of like the big movie studios and stuff. It's just so crazy. It's like they're screwing over and taking advantage of like all the people that work for them, you know, like Hollywood accounting and everything. And then like you got all the music labels that are like fucking people over on the like worst deals known to mankind. And then people are like all getting upset about it. I don't know. It's just crazy to me how people can view it that kind of way. I mean, I get it. Don't get me wrong, but it still just blows my mind. People be so like weirdly compassionate about some big conglomeration, corporation, whatever. Exactly, yeah. Like, I mean, for me, I've been working on like making music production stuff for like 7 years. I've never made like a dime off of it. So I have like literally no moral issue with pirating the program that I have. I'm not going to admit which program I use intentionally so that I don't get like a cease and desist. But at the same time, I will say that the program that I do use, I have not paid for it. But I've never tried out FL Studio. A lot of people have like a stigma against it because it's like a lot of people's like go-to and everything. But like I've always really disliked that stigma. I feel like one thing I'm always really excited about is anything that helps like somebody learn how to start creating and expressing themselves. It's like I've always had like a kind of ratatouille kind of approach. It's like anybody can cook, like anybody can create, anybody can express themselves through art or whatever. And anything that makes that easier and gets more people excited about that, and kind of like there's so many business people where if you talk to them, like they don't understand a goddamn word of what you're saying when you start talking about creative stuff and inspiration and like getting excited about stuff like that. It's like they're so like robotic and like, I don't know, black and white about stuff that I don't know, anything that gets more people in the mindset of understanding what it's like to be inspired by something and creating something. It's just better for like the general population, like in general. Like people will be more compassionate, people will be more receptive to like other people's expression and stuff like that. Because it's like, you can shit on like a comedian, and then once you start trying to do stand-up and you realize like how fucking difficult it is or whatever, and I've never tried it myself, but it's like you get that kind of like appreciation for it. And the more people that get appreciation for how difficult making these different things are, like if more people knew how difficult it was to like make music, like digital music, it's not just like pushing buttons or making digital artwork or whatever. It's like a lot of people have the mindset that it's like just pushing buttons and the computer basically does the work for you. Like basically what AI does now, but before AI. They just thought you just push a button and then you get art or music come out of it or whatever. And even now, it's really annoying to me because it's like, sure, you can go in there and just type in like some simple little prompt and just shit something out and post it on Instagram or whatever. But at the same time, like somebody can just go up to a canvas and just literally just slap paint onto it and call it a day too. It's like just because the barrier to entry and it like is lower doesn't mean that you can't still put effort towards like an AI art project or whatever. And that's kind of something that I want to try to make a video on soon, is just like highlighting that just because it lowered the barrier to entry and made it easier for people to get into doesn't mean that's the end all be all, and that like AI art is shit just because it's AI art. It's like you can do a lot of stuff where it's like there's been a lot of stuff where I've spent like days on like AI art stuff, even like weeks and months and stuff, on just like repeatedly refining something I'm working on, or like having issues on getting it to like make something that I haven't that I want to make, and then having to like go in and make like 5, 6, 7, like 10 different versions of it, and just taking little bits and pieces of each and like putting them together in like a collage kind of like compositing fashion. And I don't know. So yeah, like anything that makes it easier for people to get into it, I'm all for. So I've never liked that stigma against like FL Studio, or like there's like a DJ program called virtual DJ, and it's kind of in the same thing where like a lot of people that are starting out will immediately go to virtual DJ, and because of that, it has this kind of association of being kind of like for noobs or whatever. And it's like, no, you can still do like really kick-ass killer sets with virtual DJ. But also because it has like an auto mix kind of feature where you can put in like a playlist and it'll kind of like automatically figure out like the key of each song and the BPM and kind of mix things together. So it's like, because it has that thing that makes it a little bit easier for you, people think that it's only for noobs or whatever. And it's like, no, that's just a feature that helps people get in the door. And so like, don't shit on it. But people get so like gatekeepy about stuff. But what's interesting though is that while I have that kind of mindset of like, I believe everybody should try out creating stuff and trying to get more in touch with their artistic side, I still do get kind of agitated when people put out low effort stuff, like repeatedly or whatever. Like, I mean, I guess if it's just somebody starting out or whatever, I'm not as concerned, but low effort content in general just kind of grinds my gears. So it's kind of a funny dichotomy of thoughts. It's like I want more people to lower the barrier of entry and get into making it and everything, but also I still am kind of a purist and perfectionist about some stuff, sort of. I don't really consider myself a perfectionist, but that's like the easiest way of saying it. It's more just I like to tweak things until like I can watch it through without getting agitated about something. So like there's a lot of stuff in the 1.9 freestyle where like in the audio or in the video, like I wish I could have made it a little bit better, but the whole thing about that project was like setting a deadline for myself, like with the audio and with the video. And shit. Let me change class. I haven't been using the variable zoom scope. So like, there's a lot of stuff in there that I still would have liked to do better, but it's like I was under a time crunch, so I just made it as best as I could until I could like watch it all the way through without like, oh, this is like really needs to be fixed or whatever. It's all mostly just stuff that I would have liked to fix or add, not necessarily like something that's mission critical or like, I don't know, really affects the overall quality of stuff. So I don't really consider myself a perfectionist, but I don't know. I'm a tweaker. I'll go in and tweak stuff until it sounds good. It's good and bad. I'm getting hungry. Probably about to hop off stream in like 30 minutes or so. But I'm planning on getting on like a lot earlier tomorrow. Like I'm probably gonna be streaming for like most of the day. Probably getting on like around like lunchtime, and then just streaming for probably like 6, 7, 8 hours. It's been a while since I've done like a really long stream. Most of my streams recently have been like 1.5, 2, 3 hours. So I want to get a nice 6, 7, 8 hour stream in. And hopefully, like what I want to try to do is be kind of more variety in my streams, because I've been in the habit of just like getting on and just sticking to one thing, like just making music, just playing Call of Duty, just oh, there's this other thing that I need to make more videos about and put on my YouTube. But basically I have this thing set up where I can use ChatGPT and DALL-E to basically make like a live storybook generator kind of thing. So it's like if you've ever seen AI Dungeon, where it's like the text-based D&D campaign thing, like choose your own adventure kind of style stuff. It's like that, just using ChatGPT, but then also for each, like after I make like a decision that's like, okay, I want to go do this or whatever, for each new scene, it makes like an image prompt, and then it makes an image. So each scene gets its own picture. So it's like literally like a storybook that's being crafted in real time. So like whenever I was first starting out streaming, like I was doing a lot of those streams and they were really sick. I was having a lot of fun. But then I started playing Call of Duty and I've been pretty much just only streaming Call of Duty mostly. So I need to get back more. What the fuck happened to my controller? Okay. So like those streams are really, really fun. And it's a lot more fun when I have somebody like watching. So I want to try to like do more variety streams where like I start off like playing Call of Duty or whatever, and then I pivot to like doing some of the other really creative stuff that I have set up for my stream, because it's a lot harder to get people in watching from the get-go on some of those other streams, just because they're not as polished, or people don't really have a good idea of what's going on. And that's also another reason why I need to get more, what the fuck, bot. I need to get more YouTube videos about some of the, like the more like custom, like creative content that I've been working on stream, just to get people like kind of like introduced to it. Because it's really fun, because like chat can give like suggestions about what happens in the story. Like the first one that I did, I had a chatter. Like we had this crazy ass, like we were in a bowling alley, and this crazy ass dude just showed up and started like causing ruckus, and like made like this team of monkeys come out onto the bowling alley and started just doing a bunch of shenanigans. And then all of a sudden the monkeys like combined together like a gigantic monkey robot, like Voltron. And then like I sent out like tactical garden gnomes to combat the monkeys. And then like the person in chat was like just giving out like funny ass suggestions or whatever, and I was just like putting it in the story. It's just so fun because like it can really just go anywhere you want. You know, you can do whatever you want. Just like, I love just doing the stupidest, most ridiculous, absurd stuff. It's like reaching into my pocket and pulling out like unlimited sandwiches or just something stupid like that. And just seeing what happens and just, I don't know, just fucking around. It's so fucking fun. I would love to get more. I did one stream where I did like that, but instead of making pictures for each scene, I was using like a AI video generator. So I was making like 3-second GIFs for each thing. So like the first one I did, it was like a dog that could like jet ski and surf and everything. So it was so badass just to like have this stupid ass story I'm working on, and all of a sudden there's just like this video of this dog just surfing on the water. But the only downside is that the only computer that I have that's like beefy enough, has a good enough graphics card to run the AI video generation locally is my computer that I'm also running my face cam stuff in Unreal Engine on. So it's like I can either have like the full quality face cam or the AI video generation stuff. So I don't know, I might like do some streams where like I'm using the face cam, and then whenever I switch to doing the AI video generation stuff, then I just don't have a face cam. That's an option. But it's just one of those things where it's like I spent so much time getting my face cam stuff set up and putting so much time and effort into it that it's like I want to show it off. I want to have it on screen. So that was like kind of like something that kind of like held me back a couple of weeks ago from like doing more of those kind of streams. Just because it's like if I want to do the AI video generation stuff, I can't have my pretty face cam. Yes, it definitely does limit my audience and everything, but I'm not really too concerned about it because it's like I've got all these other things going for me that I feel like as long as I continue to get better at streaming and better at making YouTube videos, then it doesn't really matter. And I feel like having like a face and hands and hopefully eventually like a full body motion capture kind of suit, it's like, I don't know, it conveys enough like just emotion and body expression and stuff like that that I can do like gestures and stuff like that. So I feel like it's I don't know, my take on it personally is not necessarily being concerned too much about the like the limiting factors and aspects of it, more about like what kind of stuff that can I do that other people can't do because they're not doing virtual stuff. So like for me, I can go and make my own little like quote unquote game where I'm doing like VR sculpting, and I basically can like become an earthbender and just start sculpting stuff with my hands. And it's like you can't do that unless you're a VTuber using like virtual reality stuff. No, you're 100% good in asking that kind of question. I'm glad you asked it. Because I haven't, like, I don't know, it's not something that I am too concerned about. Mostly just because it's like there's so many benefits that I have with being a VTuber. Just like mostly just like being the anonymity kind of side of it. That's something that's big for me, but also just the fact that now that I have everything set up, like I don't have to worry about my lighting or like having like worrying about how I look or anything, about if my hair is looking crazy or whatever. I can just hop on stream, and as long as like the technical difficulties are like worked out, then I can just kind of hop on. But yeah, lately in the past like couple of days or so, I've been trying to like brainstorm more on like taking like the Mr. Beast kind of like make really good quality videos and the rest will kind of come mindset, but also trying to think about it like, okay, well, Mr. Beast and a lot of those type of YouTubers are doing stuff in real life with real footage. How can I make really cool, really engaging videos that have like a really big narrative and that are really captivating without having that? And I mean, like, obviously, like, there's a lot of stuff I can do with just crafting like some sort of story about like any kind of story time video of like how I became the greatest gamer of all time, you know, whatever kind of streams like that or videos like that. Like Ludwig's how I beat this Pokemon game kind of video or whatever. Like that's obviously one way to do it, but I'm also like always trying to push the boundary and find things that people haven't done before, because then it makes it, I get more of an incentive. I'm more focused on it because it's so exciting to me, and I'm more likely to continue working on it. And also it's like more interesting to the viewers. It's like as long as it's something that I've been like working on and it's kind of somewhat polished, then whenever they see it, it's a little bit more exciting because they haven't seen it anywhere and they can't get that kind of content anywhere else. That's kind of the stuff that I'm focused on, is like, what can I do in my stream, in my content, that people just literally can't get anywhere else. And part of that is definitely going to be like the art and music production creation stuff, is because I've got like 7 years of experience in learning how to do all this stuff. I mean, I'm still not super great. I'm not like the greatest rapper, the greatest producer, the greatest video editor or whatever. I'm decent at all of that, but like I have experience in combining all of those things. And that's something that is kind of just like, you just have to take time out of your life and throw it at it. So that was kind of my investment that I put in like 7 years ago. It's like, I'm not gonna focus on like relationships or like too crazy of like going on vacations or hanging out with, like in the past couple of years I haven't really been hanging out with my friends, like hardly at all. It's just like a once a month kind of thing. I'll call some friends on the phone or whatever, but like it's just been like a kind of grind set of like, if it's not something where I'm thinking about or like talking about like creation stuff, or just getting better, or people that are also similarly kind of focused and energized in just that kind of mindset, then I'm just not as excited for it. Just because I have so many friends, it's like they're doing cool and all that stuff, but they're whatever they've got going on, but they're a lot more complacent than I'd like to be. It's like I always want to continue to be growing and getting better, and I don't know, there's a lot of friends that I have that just I don't know, like either dropped out of college and just worked some like regular job and like just do like kind of the same thing over and over or whatever, and it's like I just don't like being stuck in that. I don't know, but partially a lot of that is like I was really depressed a couple of years ago, and I realized something like really insightful about myself, where it's like I get in this like vicious cycle where it's like if I get depressed, I have less energy to work on creative stuff, and I pretty much derive most of my happiness in life around creating stuff. Like making stuff in general is where I'm happiest. Like not even necessarily fully having to finish something or put it out for people to view, as long as I'm just working on creating things, and that's what makes me the happiest. So it's like whenever I get depressed and I'm less energized to like work on that kind of stuff, then I'm less happy, and then I'm less energized, and it's just this big cycle. So then I got in like the realization, it's like as long as I stick with this creative momentum, I'm really big into like momentum and like everything. As long as I stick with this creative momentum, and just try to avoid getting in some sort of like depressive rut, then I mean I can pretty much just run it forever. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm basically in like art creation kind of mindset for life. It's like it doesn't matter if I ever become like the biggest or greatest artist of all time. It's like that'd be cool or whatever, but like I'm just focused on maintaining me working on stuff and creatively expressing myself throughout my entire life. And as long as I can continue to do that, I don't care how much money I'm making, I don't care how many people are following me or whatever. That's just what makes me happy, and that's what I can stay consistent on. It's like I have like a lot of shortcomings with like ADD or whatever, ADHD. So it's like a lot of the time I'll look at, instead of 100% focusing on like, oh, I really suck at focusing on things or remembering things, it's like, let me focus on whatever I can be consistent at. It's like I can be consistent at about being scatterbrained and like jumping from like rabbit hole topic or subject or hobby to different hobby or whatever. So it's like I can benefit off of that by getting really into music production for a couple of months and then pivoting to video production when I get bored of that. And then I just have this like kind of like cycles or loops or whatever of like a couple of different times per year I'll like get more focused on like whatever other kind of thing or whatever I'm interested in. But yeah, just keeping the ball rolling. That's a huge part about just like life in general. That's one thing I was really big on about like streaming and everything. It's like I want to just like I was the worst about it this past week just because I was starting up my new part-time job and just didn't really feel like streaming because I was just a little bit more tired than usual at the end of the day. But I've been trying to stay really consistent with at least streaming like, if not every day, like every other day. And so far I've been pretty consistent on that. So I feel like I've felt pretty happy with that. Where like even if it's just a short stream or whatever, I still, you know, hop on and go live or whatever. You still maintain, like keep that blade sharpened and keep the fire hot. Because it's like I've always been really like along the same kind of lines, been really like habit like focused, like those kind of mindsets. It's like if I can go ahead and set myself up in a good habit from the get-go, then I'll just setting myself up to like for success. Like for example, whenever I started learning how to drive, I got in the habit of always number one, buckling up as soon as I got in the car, always using my blinker even if nobody's around me, and always always like getting out of my car and using the keychain to lock the car, so that way I never have to worry about like accidentally locking my keys in my car, because every time I lock my door I'm already outside of the car, and like every time I am changing lanes or turning or whatever, I don't have to like think about using my blinker. I just do it without even thinking about it, even if nobody else is on the road. Just like a lot of stuff like that. It's like if you can go ahead and get in a good habit from the get-go and just build on that and just like maintain whatever good little habits that you have, then it just makes it a lot easier to continue the flow or whatever, or just build on that or whatever. See, I'm really big like habit focused, and also there's like a really good piece of advice that I saw on like Reddit a while back, where it's like, I forget who said this, where the quote's from, but it's like motivation and like inspiration is fleeting. It's like it's really great whenever you do have it, but you can't rely on that. You gotta rely on just like a good work ethic and good like habit forming and stuff like that. And it's like you might not always have the best idea for some crazy song that you're working on, like producing or whatever, but like as long as you are like going in there and regularly spending time in the studio, then that gives you a better chance of like whenever you are in that creative mindset or whatever, then you are right there where you can act on it. Because it's like, but there's been times where like I've been like really stoned or whatever, like hanging out with friends or like camping or whatever, and I'll be like in a really dope creative mindset where I'll be like thinking about all these ideas, but I can't like actually do anything about it at that time. And it's like you just can't rely on always consistently being able to get into that kind of mindset. So like just habits and just making sure you show up. That's like 90% of like life. It's like just showing up is like the first step. Like just show up to the job. It's like a lot of people like they're just like quit showing up to work at like a fast food restaurant or whatever. It's like as long as you just show up, then you beat out like 90% of the other people that didn't make it that far. So I don't know. That's kind of my take on it. Just I don't know. It's life. Yeah, man. You just gotta do it, man. You just gotta get into it, man. Just toke up and just like vibe, man. It's funny how many of those like hippie mindsets, it's like, I don't know, it's always funny to hear those kind of mindsets and like say those kind of stuff, those like hippie kind of stuff, but like a lot of it is like it's got truth. I mean, and the same thing goes with like any kind of like overly corporate kind of mindset. Like one thing I've always really thought about a lot is like the customer's always right. So many people have that misunderstood. It's not necessarily like if somebody comes in and argues with you that you have to agree with them. It's more in like the more like overarching like industry-wide kind of shifts. Like if the average consumer is shifting towards like a phone that doesn't have a headphone jack, if that's not something that they care about, then the customer is right in that respect. That's kind of like the way that like it should be looked at. I don't know. It's just funny, like all these different pieces of advice that like some of it's good, some of it's bad, some of it's like sounds really good. Like you have a lot of motivational speakers and like just like televangelists and stuff like that like will say a lot of stuff that sounds like it makes sense or sounds really neat and clean or whatever, but I don't know, it doesn't necessarily mean that it actually applies. It doesn't really stick in real life. But along those lines, I've always like one thing that I've always tried to focus on and think about is kind of universal concepts. Like something I started like paying attention to this more in like just learning different things in college and like realizing like, oh, I don't just have to learn this thing in a class. I can also try to apply it in the other classes that I'm like taking. So like I was taking calculus at the same time I was taking chemistry, and I was like, how can I apply the math that I'm learning to the chemistry? And like just trying to apply multiple things that you're interested in is like a surefire way to like just get your brain like thinking about it in like a different, it's like making more mental connections and just kind of like getting a different perspective on it just off rip. So like I'll be thinking and trying to think about like any kind of like advice or takeaways or just general like ideas or concepts that like work in a regard, like a wide area of fields. So like one concept that I've always been really big on is like always have some sort of like something to anchor the content that you're working on, some sort of like foundational concrete. It's like you can get like as wild and experimental as you want, but just make sure that you always have something to ground the viewer or the listener. So it's like if you go really experimental with like, I don't know, like a beat or like a flow or something like that, then maybe have like the drums be something that's more conventional or something that's easier to digest. Or I don't know, it's hard to describe without like having physical examples in front of me, but like let's say you have like some sort of like artwork that you're working on, and it's just like a whole bunch of like just wavy convolutions and like just like a turbulent like smoke simulation or something like that, if you're familiar with like turbulent flow or whatever. Just like if you have something that's just all over the place and just completely detached or whatever and like adrift in the ocean, like giving something like a picture frame, like a border around it, or like some sort of central piece in the like in the shot to like focus on. I don't know, something to like guide the viewer's eyes or attention or whatever to that. Just something to keep it grounded. That's kind of like the overall takeaway. Not necessarily that it has to be something like doing something conventionally if you're going to left field, but just more of like being aware of where somebody's attention is going. And I don't know, just playing around that, playing off of that. Kind of just rambling at this point. I'm getting kind of really tired and hungry, but I don't know. I think this is going to be my last game. And I'm just going to hop off and get on like tomorrow around like lunchtime. But, yeah, like I said, I'll be streaming tomorrow for like a good 6, 7, maybe 8 hours. But yeah, like what I find is like in your creative vision, like you'll have this idea and to you it makes complete sense. And like it can be frustrating for a lot of people, like myself included, when you're trying to describe that idea that you have in your head to somebody else and they don't really get it. And that's kind of like a lot of the reason why I just started like making stuff on my own and like focusing on just like figuring out how to do it myself. It's just because it's like I don't want to be in a position where it's like I can rap really well, but if I want to make good music videos, then I have to like rely on finding somebody else that's good or that fits my kind of like artistic vibe that I'm going for. I don't want to have to be like, I don't like being stuck in like some sort of situation. I don't ever want to be stuck in like a contract. I don't want to be stuck in some sort of like music label kind of situation or anything like that. I just don't like being like limited. I mean, I'm like a VTuber kind of thing, so that is limiting. But like, creative limitations are a lot different than like contractual limitations, or like working with somebody where you have like creative differences with them, like really big creative differences. But so like you'll have your artistic vision, and the viewer like will have no bearing on what you were actually intending to convey. So like making it where like even if they might not understand the lyrics, as long as they can still vibe with like the way it sounds, then that's like a good step. Or I don't know, just like making something slightly more palatable. There's a lot of time where I want to like go like really crazy with like my music production and just make it sound like absolutely like balls to the walls bonkers, just like some really crazy like experimental JPEG Mafia type stuff. And sometimes I'm like, it's just better to reel it back a little bit, just a little bit, like don't go completely off the deep end. But I don't know, I think a lot about just like focus, attention, perspective, just like general concepts that like kind of work regardless of what woo! Look at that no scope. They kind of work like regardless of what you're working on, what kind of field you're in, and it's just good mentalities to be aware of. And what the fuck? Somebody got a dog's care package and it's at the bottom of the map. Yeah, like I said, I'm always looking for those kind of like mindsets or whatever. Like I'm really big on like just one of the key things that I'll take away of like whenever I meet somebody is what kind of mindset they have. And a lot of the time I can get that from just casual conversation or asking them about, you know, similar interests that I'm into like music or what kind of movies I'm into or stuff like that. But just getting a vibe of somebody's mindset completely determines like my interest in like talking to that person or working with that person or whatever. Like if somebody doesn't have the right mindset for something, then it's like it's a lot harder to change a mindset. You know, if somebody's in like a really positive, like creation focused mindset, then it's definitely going to be like a lot easier to work with somebody that's more like restrictive or like more set in like a routine way of doing things. Like okay, for like huge example, there's this friend that I met. It was like a friend of a friend that worked on music production, and he was like 16, so like really young, but he also had like Asperger's and just like a lot of like mental stuff that he had. Like I think he was like he like also heard like voices and stuff. Like he was like partially schizophrenic. He had to take like antipsychotic meds, which is like unrelated to the music production stuff. But I noticed that he was very, very like focused on keeping things inside a particular box. Like whenever he started working on a piece of music, he was very focused on, okay, what kind of genre is this going to be? And stuff like that. And like whenever I work, I'm like the complete opposite. I don't really care like what it is or trying to define it. I'm just trying to figure out what's going to work best in that moment. And like our mindset towards creation kind of like didn't really like we had fun hanging out, but like our creation like mindset and vibe and everything were like really kind of polar opposites. And it just didn't really work out that well. And I'm sure we could have like worked through it over time or something like that. Like spending time with like somebody else in the studio is basically the only way to like get in that kind of flow. But you can kind of tell if you're gonna work well with somebody else or not. If you've been working like yourself, if you've been working on something for years and have experience working in it, then you can kind of get a general vibe of whether or not somebody else is going to be, I don't know, good to work with in your creation. So I don't know, I'm rambling at this point, so I'm just going to hop off. But yeah, I really enjoyed having you in the chat. Definitely like the best conversation that I've had with a chatter so far. That's been really fire. So I appreciate that. Now I'm not just like saying that, just talking on my ass. Like I've just been really, I've enjoyed this whole stream, this whole conversation and shit. So shouts out to you, BDC. But yeah, I enjoyed having the stream, and hopefully I see you again soon. Like I said, I stream typically like towards the evenings or whatever. But yeah, I'll be on tomorrow, like pretty much all day. But yeah, adios. See you later.